When you win in dominant fashion, it's easy to ignore certain things. Say we would have lost this game, a lot of people would be talking about like, oh, our linebackers aren't good in coverage. No, they can't cover anybody. They're always getting lost, they're too slow, they're in the wrong position. But in a win, people tend to ignore some of the negative things. And that's no, you can't ignore bad process or bad play just because you won a game.
Welcome back to the channel. This is Marcus Sniffles, and we're going to try something a little bit different this week where we're going to put on an episode on a Thursday, go over it's going to be mostly Colts stuff, but we are going to touch on some other NFL topics. So make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 500, we're trying to get to 900 subscribers by the end of the football season. We're currently close to 850. So if you're listening, if you're watching, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. So let's get a little bit of an injury update for the Colts. Starting linebacker Joe Bachie is now on IR, which that's almost an upgrade. This might be like a Xavier Howard situation where we're getting better by subtraction because he has not played well. He has looked pretty terrible, and we're going to come back to that. Alec Pierce has missed 2 weeks for a concussion. I believe he should be good to go this Sunday against the Cardinals. And they're talking about Kenny Moore was a full practice. I'm still on the fence with that. Like, I'm very wary of Achilles injuries, and I know it might be a little bit too cautious, but I would sit him until the bye week if I'm being honest. Like, let's get Mike Hilton healthy. Let's get all these other young cornerbacks some playing experience, some time to really get in there. See what we got with Jalen Jones if he gets healthy. Let Mekhi Blackman and Edwards and Lamons get more playing time, get more experience, get more reps. And then after the bye week, we bring back Kenny, and that just improves our defensive secondary. So I would rest Kenny Moore until the end of the bye week. So we also lost Spencer Schrader for the season, got injured on a questionable play against the Raiders. So we have signed Mike Badgley, pretty solid kicker, just not good from like deep. He's not a good long ball kicker, but I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue in our offense because Shane, he's going to go for it on fourth downs. Like if he doesn't think his kicker is going to be able to make that kick, a deep kick, he's just going to go for it. So we have one of the highest scoring offenses. So as long as we have a guy that's reliable for the extra points and short field goals, I feel pretty good about that. So speaking on the Joe Bachie injury of him going to IR, the Colts have made a pretty good offseason move. Jermaine Pratt has just been signed by the Colts after being released by the Raiders. I'm still trying to find out why the Raiders released him, but he was a player that the Colts have been trying to sign this offseason because he did play in Cincinnati under Lou Anarumo. He was on the Cincinnati team that made it to the Super Bowl. In 2024, he had 2 interceptions, 6 pass defenses, 2 forced fumbles in 2024. So he's a good, solid player, and he's still fairly young. He's not like old, but he's not young. He's in his prime still. And based on the things that I've seen, based on the numbers I've looked at and the highlights and film and all that stuff, like obviously highlights can make anybody look great, but he looks to be a massive upgrade over Joe Bachie. He seems to be a lot better in coverage. He seems to be a better fit as far as next to Zaire Franklin. And he knows the defensive scheme. He played with under Lou Anarumo for like over 5 or 6 years. So I don't think he's going to look how he's going to look for the rest of the season against the Cardinals. I still think he needs to get his legs up under him. Still needs to get a feel for, because there's going to be different language and verbiage in this scheme. Although it's the same scheme, there's going to be different verbiage. So he's going to need a little bit more time to kind of keep up playing with different players, different city, all that stuff. So, but in the games that are coming forward, those are when I would be more likely to judge him with a more critical eye. But I really do like the signing. I spoke about it on the last episode where I said that even though we dominated the Raiders 40-6, our pass coverage from our linebackers was not good. And that's something that cannot be ignored, even though we won, even though we've been winning. And I like that Chris Ballard or Lou Anarumo noticed that and it's like, hey, yeah, we're playing great right now, but this is still a problem and it needs to be fixed. And it's a thing where the general manager and the head coaches and ownership, they're not sitting on their hands this year. They're pretty much going all in with a lot of these moves. They're not signing a lot of rookies. They're not signing a lot of young players. They're signing experienced, well-known players. And I really, really like this move. So we're going to talk a little bit about AD Mitchell here and what's happening with the Cardinals. But before we do that, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you made it this far. I really appreciate it. So AD Mitchell obviously got benched last week for what he did against the Rams, dropping the touchdown pass. And Ashton Doolin pretty much got all of his snaps in. We didn't see AD until garbage time with Anthony Richardson. And the one pass that he ran, there was a miscommunication on it. He ran a short route, Anthony threw it deep. Nobody knows who was right or who was wrong, but it's just another example of something went wrong in the passing game, and AD Mitchell was a part of that. Because in the Rams game, he was involved in the interception, he was involved in the touchdown run that was brought back, he was obviously involved in the fumble, and now in garbage time, you're still messing up. I'm not saying that he did that, but it looks like either him or Anthony messed up. And it's just another data point where it's just like, what is it with this guy? Why isn't he locked in? Why isn't he doing what he's supposed to do? Or why isn't he where he's supposed to be at? So it's a bad look for him at this point. And his benching, in my opinion, is going to be a turning point for his career. Whether he succeeds, whether he's a bust, whether he becomes a Pro Bowl, All Pro receiver, whether he becomes a Ring of Honor guy or is out of the league in 2 years, this moment of him getting benched is going to be the turning point that we look at and say, okay, this was a moment where he changed his career completely. I mean, we can look up and down the roster on both sides of the ball. Nick Cross was a young player, physical tools, but very young and raw, and kind of got forced into a starting and playing position, and he wasn't ready, and he ended up getting benched. And now Nick Cross might be one of our better players. He's at least a top 5 defensive player on this roster. But he had to get sat down for him to learn and to get better. Same thing with Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson has had a tumultuous, oh my gosh, has had a tumultuous career here in Indianapolis, and he got benched last year. But when after the 2 weeks of him being benched, he came back and he had that amazing Jets comeback. He had that last minute drive against the Patriots. Like, he played a lot better after his benching. Now, he didn't play every game perfectly, but you could see the improvement in his game post benching. You can even look at Jonathan Taylor. He had that bad fumble against Denver last year. And what did he do for the rest of the season? He had 218 yards in the next game, 125 yards the next game, and 177 yards to finish the season. In his final 3 games, he had 6 touchdowns. Like, that's top running back in the league type production. And all that happened after the Denver fumble. So it's one of those things where it's a make or break for AD Mitchell. Are you going to take what you did against LA and go into a shell and not be able to get yourself back from that? Or are you going to turn your career around and become the player that you physically can be? He has all the physical tools. He has the size. He has the speed. He has the hands. He has the explosiveness. All of the things that you would want in a receiver. If he puts it all together, that moment in LA, we'll look back and say, like, that was a tough moment, but that was the moment where his career turned around. And hopefully it turns around for the better, whether it be in Indy or somewhere else. So I still believe in AD Mitchell. I just think he might not get another opportunity with Alec Pierce coming back and Ashton Doolin showing what he could do. It's going to be really tough for AD to see the field. But whenever he gets an opportunity to be on the field, he needs to do whatever is asked of him. If he gets on the field and all they're doing is running, then he needs to get out there and block his ass off. If he's a decoy, then he needs to run 100%, even if they're not throwing him the ball. Because the Colts coaches see that, and other teams coaches see that. They can tell when you're not running as hard. They can tell when you're not trying to block as hard. You have to put on good film from here on out. Like, you have to damn near be perfect because you're not going to get a lot of opportunities. We play a lot of 13 personnel, so there's only one wide receiver on the field for a lot of the times. And you're not getting more snaps than Michael Pittman. You're not getting more snaps than AD Mitchell. Or you're not getting more snaps than Alec Pierce. You're not getting more snaps than Josh Downs. You're not getting more snaps than Tyler Warren. You're not getting more snaps than Ashton Doolin at this point. So when you get on the field, you have to be flawless out there and do your very, very best. And I'm rooting for him. I want him to be great. on this team. Now, the last thing I want to kind of speak on is what happened with John Gannon. And that kind of relates to what happened with A.D. Mitchell, because there was a running back for the Arizona Cardinals that had like a 70-yard run and he dropped the ball before crossing the end zone. And Jonathan Gannon kind of lost his mind a little bit. And I was thinking like, wow, what if Shane Steichen would have did the same things that Jonathan Gannon did, like going up, yelling at the player, hitting the player multiple times in the chest. And it's just like, it's just a bad look for the head coach. You know, like what? You're not coaching in that spot. You're not leading in that spot. You're not being disciplined in that spot. Like I feel like Shane Steichen in that moment when AD fumbled the ball. Obviously, we haven't seen it, but if he would have did something like that, we would have saw it on video. But according to him, he went over there, talked to him, said, "Hey, keep your head in the game because we need you to be out there because Alec Pierce wasn't coming back." And he went over there, encouraged them, like, "Hey, let's rally around him so we can get this win." Jonathan Gannon, on the other hand, went over there, berated his player, struck his player, and it's just like that's not leadership. It's not leadership because as the head coach, you cannot tell your players to be disciplined and keep their emotions in check on the field and then you not do it as a head coach. Because if your player goes out on defense and gets an unsportsmanlike penalty, you're going to be losing your mind at him. So for you to turn around and do the same thing and then do it to your player, a player that if he would have hit you back would have gotten more trouble. Like how does that look? What if that running back was like, you know what? You're not going to hit me like this. Like, I know I messed up. I know I fumbled the ball, but you're not going to put your hands on me, and I'm about to put my hands on you. Now, where are we at? That's not leadership. Jonathan Gannon, he can't do the job. If that's how he's going to react, I wouldn't trust him as my head coach. And he's a defensive coach, right? So let's look at this. The running back fumbled at the beginning of the fourth quarter. The Cardinals were up 21-6. Their offense went 3 and out, gave up the ball, and then had 6 plays and then punted the ball. And they did all that with Kyler Murray, right? So that's piss poor, clearly. But the defense gave up 2 60-plus yard scoring drives. You're a defensive coach, and you let a rookie quarterback that hasn't been playing that great and an offense that hasn't been playing great have 2 60-plus yard scoring drives on your defense? What if that running back came up to you and punched you in your chest? Because you're not doing your job correctly. You're not leading that defense well. Your defense gave up that lead in the end of the game. You had plenty of chances to win that game, and to go over there and make it seem like it's that running back's fault is bad coaching, and it's just cowardice if we're being honest. Like it's a bad look because you know that player can't hit you back. And you're just being frustrated and you can't control your emotions and you need to be a better coach and be a better leader. It's embarrassing. And he got fined $100K, I think. I wouldn't have been mad if they fired him. Because how do you lead that locker room after something like that? How do you lead those men after losing your cool like that? That's how my kids act. My kids act out like that when they get mad and they're under 10 years old. You're a grown man. Keep your hands to yourself. It's not that hard. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Am I being too soft on this John Gannon thing? Do you still believe in A.D. Mitchell? Do you like the Jermaine Pratt signing? Make sure you guys subscribe. We drop videos every Monday at 7 in the morning. We're trying to get to 900 subscribers by the end of the season. So make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. I'll see you on the next one. Go Colts.
Thanks for watching, babe. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel.
You made it this far. If you have not liked the video at this point, what are you waiting for? Just like the video. Hit the like button right now. I'm talking to you. Make sure you like the video and subscribe and drop a comment. All that stuff. This is a threat. Not a threat, a warning. But it could be a threat. Just do it.